This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 7th show. I provide you news on everything money, fresh information on market trends and conditions that are happening in our local economy. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, but you can always call into the show, 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Janice Hammond with Sunrise Financial Services, regular contributor to my show, and really is here to help our listeners with your financial outlook for 2015. Today, we're going to be talking about being financially smart and how to improve your financial outcome this year. Janice, thank you so much for coming back in studio.
Sure. Good to see you.
And a little background about Janice. Janice recognized the need for a more conservative approach in investing and strives to outpace inflation, and her firm that caters to the unique needs of each individual. So after 10 years in the financial industry, Janice opened her doors of Sunrise Financial Services in order to help people avoid common mistakes when planning for retirement. And I have to say, out of all the financial planners that I've been around in my 20 years in the mortgage industry, I've never seen a firm that treats their clients so much like a family, so much so that I refer my family to you. My mom is a personal client of yours, and I appreciate all that you do for her and taking care of the referrals and introductions that I have for your firm. And so thank you again, Janice.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's get into it. We're going to talk about the 5 ways to improve your financial outlook for 2015. And since the new year is upon us, it's only fit that we talk about the New Year resolutions, and a lot make them, and about 50% of Americans they are usually related to being fit, losing weight, quit smoking, or eating healthier. And how about New Year resolutions for a financial life?
Well, I believe, and maybe I'm just a bit biased, but financial New Year's resolutions are important too. If we don't set goals, then we never really work toward them. And you mentioned about 50% of Americans make New Year's resolutions, but according to a survey done by the University of Scranton, only about 8% keep them.
That's a really low number, Janice. That tells me that it's important to be motivated and to set goals, and realistic ones and ones that are maintainable, correct?
Exactly.
So let's jump right into, because we always seem to be running out of time and it's important information. What is the New Year's resolution people should have on the top of their list for 2015?
So I would say definitely start saving for retirement. Whether you're 5 or 50, now is definitely the best time to start. And if your employer has a plan you can contribute to, such as an IRA or a 401k, this is a good way to get started. And you should start with an amount that you know you can maintain and then increase it gradually as you're able to do that. Ideally, you want to contribute the maximum amount possible each year, especially if the employer is matching.
So, Janice, what is the maximum that someone can contribute to their retirement accounts for the year?
Well, this will vary just depending on the type of plan you have. But for example, not including your company plan that you contribute to, you can now contribute $5,500 to your IRA if you're younger than 49, or if you're over 50, you can contribute $6,500.
So what about for my listeners that don't have an employer plan available? What are some suggestions that you have for them in savings?
Well, if you don't have an employer plan available to you, like many people don't, you can always start by just using your plain old savings account. And I encourage people to set up an auto draft, not just say I'm going to save at the end of the month when I have something left over. Include it as part of your bills and your expenses, and just set up an auto draft for the day after payday. So it's smart to incorporate that amount into your budget every month. And then once your account grows to a comfortable amount, invest it in something that will put your money to work for you.
Makes total sense. So what about a general minimum amount required for investing?
Well, it really depends on the company and the investment, but as a general rule, I'd say $5,000 is a good amount to get started. However, with that being said, the more money you have in your account, the less fees will eat away at any gains that you make. My firm provides complimentary 30-minute consultations, so feel free to call our office if you're looking to get started, and we will be happy to get you on your way. 206-420-8520.
And when you come into our office, you'll smell chocolate chip cookies.
I know.
It's so homey. And she actually goes out of the office as well. And so for some of her clientele, if they're not in a position to be able to come in and it's convenient. So definitely caters to her clients. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of the free consultation, whether you're getting started or just have a second opinion. And that's what's great also about your firm, Janice, is just that your team sits down and you'll go through all of their paperwork and everything that they have and help them make a decision on whether everything's in the right places and good, or there's some things that they can be adjusting around, whether it's utilizing your services or just helping them to ask the questions they need to with who manages their services right now. So It's awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the second New Year's resolution.
The second one is don't waste money on interest or high late fees. So if you're trying to save, but you're paying your bills late or you're paying high credit card interest rates, then you're fighting a challenging uphill battle. So make it a goal to pay off credit card debt every month and to pay your bills on time. The credit card is meant to be a tool, not an endless amount of money that you can spend. So if not used properly, you can easily find yourself in a debt prison.
Yeah, debt can really affect the lifestyle that you live. And I know that debt is a big factor in how we calculate the amount of money that we lend to potential home buyers. So, Janice, I know debt can affect the lifestyle that you live. It also is a big factor when it comes to qualifying for anything in mortgage loans. And what I like to go through my clients, especially when I talked earlier about buying power. I mean, it really is about getting out there and purchasing with buying power. The more that you can increase that in this market, the better chance you're going to have to get into the right home for your family, right school districts. And when we talk with Sandy, we're going to talk about short inventory, which adds another challenge. But if you look at that debt that you're spending, even eliminating maybe $80 a month can be $10,000, $15,000 more in buying power.
What are they using anyway for minimum payment? Do they just use the minimum payment on the credit report, or do they use a factor?
That's a really good question. It is a minimum payment. So a lot of people think if they have open credit cards that they're not using, there's going to be some type of payment that they're going to use on that, which they don't. And that's a myth out there, because I've had clients that have closed accounts out thinking there's going to be a minimum payment, even though they're not using it and they don't have a balance. Once they close those accounts out, especially if they have more than a 2-year history, can be devastating for your credit score, and you can't improve it because now you've lost that history of the account that you can't reestablish again. So it's minimum payment, whatever shows up on the report. Regardless if you're making a $200 payment, if it's $25, that's going to be used against you, and that's about $5,000, $2,500 in buying power.
Okay. So another thing that people don't really think about is when you are paying your bills late, it can cut into your savings. If you pay your Comcast bill late, then you've got I think they charge an $8 late fee. And if you're doing that every single month, just on regular rotation, that's about $100 a year. And, if you could be saving that $100 a year, that's obviously a lot better.
So many companies do have the auto reminder that can send via email or a text to remind you when your bill is due. And I find these reminders helpful, especially when bills are due around the middle of the month rather than beginning or end, when we're used to paying majority of our bills.
Yeah, I love that. And you can also set reminders into the calendar on your phone. Many of us have these smartphones that have the capability to remember these things for us, so use them. Even Post-it notes or a desktop calendar to remind you. And I'm a big fan of just putting everything on auto pay. Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned desktop sticky notes on account. I just actually realized I'm a tech person and I have a software company, and I just realized that there's sticky notes instead of the old-fashioned sticky notes on the computer. So yeah, technology is awesome, and definitely take advantage of it to make sure things are getting done as they need to. So we use Post-it notes like crazy at the office. Again, just finding out that it's on the computer made it a little bit more easy, but although I haven't had quite figured out how to use the smartphone completely yet, I'm totally dependent on my husband to keep everything all organized. So time's flying by. So let's go ahead and talk about number 3, our financial New Year resolution on the list, Janice.
So number 3 is update your trusts or wills or estate documents. And you should do this at least every 3 to 5 years. And especially if there's been major life changes that have taken place, like births, deaths, marriages, divorces. I've heard some real horror stories about unexpected deaths and 10-year-old wills and trusts. And, they just don't hold up.
So it's a great resolution, and if you have an outdated will or trust, having an updated one will save you time, money, and more importantly, family headache, which again, finances really have an impact on your family and the whole outcome. So being prepared is important.
Everybody thinks their family is not going to be like that, but when you get money involved, emotions run high, especially with all the blended families that we have now. It's more important than ever. If you have specific wishes about where you would like your assets to go, be sure to update your estate documents regularly. Speak with your estate planning attorney, and if you don't have one, we have a couple we can recommend. So just give our office a call at 206-420-8520, and we'll get you their information.
Yeah, definitely, Janice. I'm sure the listeners appreciate the recommendation. This is something that not everybody really thinks about, so I'm glad that you brought it to their attention because I'm sure this doesn't cross many people's mind on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Even if you are young and have an uncomplicated estate, people need to know how to handle your assets when you pass. And there are easy programs out there that can help you get started, such as Quicken, Will Maker, or Susie Orman's Will and Trust Kit. But if you own multiple properties and you have large amounts of assets, you'll probably want to involve an estate planning attorney.
Definitely want to make sure that your money's going to the right people and to the places that you want it to, without a doubt. So to all my listeners out there, be sure to add this to your list. Update your estate documents every, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about the fourth financial New Year's resolution. So the fourth New Year's resolution I'm suggesting to add to your list is plan for protection. There are many financial tools out there designed to help maintain or grow your current assets and the legacy you leave to your family, such as life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance. You just want to make sure that you're protected for the expected and the unexpected.
Yeah, it's probably at the back of everybody's mind, but it's something that seems that, you definitely want to have on the top of your list, right?
Definitely. And that's exactly why it's on our list today. So everyone knows they should have it, but not very many people do. Long-term care solutions alone can keep your assets intact in case of a healthcare scare. And then just regular health care and long-term care expenses, they can wipe out any legacy you plan on leaving, and costs are on the rise now.
So, Janice, what would you say is a suitable amount of insurance that my listeners should have?
I know I say this all the time, but it really does depend on your unique situation. Having adequate amounts of life, disability, or long-term care insurance depends on many different factors, and you have to sit down and consult a professional. And most importantly, make sure that you trust the person, because I've seen so many people get recommendations for insurance that they really just do not need, and they're making a monthly payment on it, and they're never going to get that money back. So our firm handles, as well as many other investments, money managers, stocks, bonds, that kind of thing. But our firm does handle both life and long-term care insurance. Unfortunately, we don't currently write disability insurance, but I definitely have people that I can recommend in your area who can.
So, Janice, I think there's a lot of families that they're one small disaster away from being in a really bad situation, and unexpected death or lost term care cost can have a small disaster if they're not taking the right steps to prepare for it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is another area I've heard many horror stories about. There are many options for families that can help ease the burden of emergency situations or unexpected deaths, long-term care costs. And I, again, recommend people come in and take advantage of our free 30-minute consultations.
So again, to get a hold of Janice, you can call into the show at 1-855-400-1150 or go online at themoneyhour.com. And I encourage you to actually search her on the website. I've had her in studio many times way back from the days with my first show into my second one and now the third one. So she's been with me for quite a while and is a trusted resource for me and for my listeners in this arena. So listen to her previous segments. You can call her directly at 206-420-8520. Janice, thank you again for coming into studio, and congratulations on the little one.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
so excited for you. Coming up next on the Money Hour, a situation in which demand exceeds supply is today's real estate market. And you want to prepare if you're going to be entering into it to make sure that you're maximizing your opportunity in the real estate arena. Sandy Tampa with Windermere Bellevue Commons right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.